Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here, and we're back in Book 2, Act 7, Chapter 1.2, and we're going up this top lane on the right side, heading up to the Venom boss. This has destructive feedback, evolutionary advantage, Overreach, and the evolutionary advantage is the newer one. It says while the defender is suffering from a bleed or armor break concussion debuff, mutant attackers get a bonus. And that bonus fury is pretty significant. So my plan was to go in here with Domino, with the synergy team, and try to get as much damage as I could off. Now, I have not fought this Daredevil Netflix much, and he can shrug off debuffs like stuns, and I didn't realize that going into this, and that kind of makes him a little bit more tricky. I'm trying to get that opening when the destructive feedback is off, and then making sure that you don't mess up while it is on. And so here I'm kind of being a little bit more cautious, making sure that he is fully stunned while before I do that heavy charge to put on the incinerate. And then I'm just gonna chill and let the destructive feedback timer go off, be pretty passive. It just makes it a little bit more safe. And then I eat a combo to the face, don't do that. And then here I think I'm trying to get him to beta special, and then I'm going to, I think I should have parried so I get the extra bonus damage, because Domino does more damage while the opponent is stunned. I light off an L3, and this is before the destructive feedback timer goes. I think I try to do an intercept, I get hit again. I'm definitely not used to this guy's movesets. And like his specials, they just seem to be like just lots of kicks, lots of punches. I don't know, Kabam nowadays, it just seems like they like to extend the special animation, like Tiger. She goes across like the whole map, it seems. But yeah, so we're going here. We got some good bleeds going, and they are still going, but they're just being prevented from the destructive feedback right now, and then that gets worn off, and I get that damage that built up. And yeah, I need to practice on this guy a little bit, because his movesets were messing me up, and then he purifies the stuns. And then we got another destructive feedback going. Now, if he touches me, I'm dead. So I'm just gonna back off, and then it wears off, and 40k damage right there from that L2. So not the best fight, not the best way to start it off, but I didn't die. And next up we have Invisible Woman, where she can apply a lot of debuffs to you throughout the fight, which is nice because you can heal through willpower from all those debuffs. And then as far as like the destructive feedback goes, just make sure that you don't get hit during that cycle if you happen to have done damage already. And you also got to be aware of her invisibility. Definitely don't want her going invisible and trying to take off that while the destructive feedback is going on. So when destructive feedback is on, my plan is to just back off and make sure that I don't get touched. And I don't know, for me, I feel like pushing her to L2 is a little bit safer than the L1. But I don't know if that's maybe just me. And yeah, so there she goes invisible. And so far so good. I've healed up some. And just kind of passively play out that timer. It gets comes off again, hit her with a big heavy. And yeah, so we're just kind of slowly working our way through. If there isn't that stun, so right there I totally ignored the destructive feedback timer, and I parried, and I took a bunch of the damage that I had done to her back, which is unfortunate, but we're still just kind of cruising along, trying to get as much damage as we can while that timer is off, and then just kind of wait it out. I think it's like the safest way to go. And then yeah, the Red Hulk synergy here is pretty dope. Those incinerates can do a lot of damage, take off the stun shield, and then boom, finish her off with a nice big L2, and Invisible Woman goes down. And then next up we have a Masacre, however you want to say it. I like just to say Masacre. And yeah, I'm just gonna basically kind of apply that same strategy for this whole line. Is just you can be aggressive and get them, like, you know, with a block and stuff when that destructive feedback timer comes up. But then after that, I just kind of chill, wait it out, and then try to maximize the damage that I can just get while that timer is resetting. And yeah, that parry heavy, man, that's doing some mighty fine work at the moment. And then I'm just gonna wait this out. I mean, you could intercept, you could hit into the block, try to block bait his heavy, but for the most part, it's pretty safe and easy to just kind of dance around a little bit. Hit him with a big L2. Those bleeds are going pretty nice. And now we're back to the destructive feedback timer. Another thing you can do is if they're low on power, you can just hit into their block, which is what I'm doing right now. And how much damage is that going to do? Enough to kill him, which was pretty significant. So he goes down pretty easy. And then we have a Dr. Voodoo, and I'm still going to use Domino. I think I use Domino for most of the fights. I think I give one to Sunspot and one to Venom. But you're safe to parry and kind of do your combo and whatnot at the beginning. It's just after that you need to wait it out or be on your intercept game. And Dr. Voodoo is not too hard. His L1 is pretty easy to get out of reach. And yeah, so again, just trying to wait out as much as possible. I think on this one I'm a little bit more aggressive because I'm just more comfortable, like feeling that I'm not going to get tagged on his L1. But yeah, this fight's going to go pretty fast in just a second. Those incinerates are putting in some work. 1700 a tick, 2900 a tick, and then I think we're going to light off a special 3. And I think the node with destructive feedback, if you do any damage with an L3 that can't get reflected, it'll get stored still, but it won't get reflected. I haven't personally tried it. I don't know that I would want to try, at least on a real run, but yeah, here we get a big special 3, boom, but no bleed, no crit bleed, which is unfortunate. But there we got 3300 a tick on that to incinerate. We get another one and weren't able to see the damage, but I think this is gonna do a ton of damage once this destructive feedback comes off. I think it's gonna kill him, especially didn't kill him. L1 bleed wasn't as strong, and boom, he's dead. So pretty easy fight so far. This lane hasn't been too troublesome. I mean, most of the lanes, if you have counters for the nodes, you can pretty much just repeat with that same champ, same strategy, which I think is a little bit too easy. But you know, it is what it is. So on this one, I don't go in with Domino because Domino's first attack on like double medium, it can be evaded by Daredevil, so I don't want to deal with that. So we're just going in with Sunspot, and with Sunspot, he can just hit really hard with his specials. And on this, I'm really gonna just wait out that timer because I do not want like the incinerate damage and like a big special one or something like that coming back and reflecting on me. That would do some really big damage. And we're still going. We got 3 solar flare states going on. Probably should have just went in on that. But I think I'm just waiting out to hit him with a big special 2. Make sure I have enough incinerate charges that I can get back. Boom, I hit him with a big special 2. And probably should have got a parry off there. But now I'm out. I'm out of incinerates. So this kind of sucks. It's like Sunspot, his damage is pretty low when he can't get his incinerates and get back to his specials fast, and you know, he doesn't get the extra power gain and whatnot. So yeah, so this last part is gonna take a little bit longer, but he can still do some good damage. I think I'm gonna light off a special 2, or do I go for a special 3? Yeah, just going for a special 3 just in case it wasn't gonna be enough damage and not have to deal with that. I'm not even sure what I think I just stalled. Yeah, I think I just stalled so that I can give him power in the destructive feedback phase and counter his L1 if he decides to throw it. Yep, and then he should be dead. Yep, right there. Alright, so far so good. We've soloed everybody, and then I think this is the last one. Yeah, Spidey Morales, and I brought Venom for this one, and he just does really well. Just gotta pretty much you know, if he's gonna throw the special 1, make sure you get your 3 dexes because you don't want to take a blocked hit in that destructive feedback phase, and he can't evade anything regardless of how many evade charges he has because he's a Spideyverse champ. And yeah, I think though at the very end I do die, and then I think I come back in and finish him off with Domino or somebody. But yeah, so I'm trying to do as much stall, where if I can just like stay away from him, he won't throw his special 1, and then try to push him to a special 2 as much as possible. So that way, if I do go into that destructive feedback phase, that I don't accidentally take a hit in the block from missing one of the 3 dexes that is needed from his special 1. Because the special 2 you can just kind of stay back from and watch. So now he is at special 1. I'm just gonna back up and then let a parry come in and parry, and then go to town on him. You know, Venom, he is like an awesome counter to any of the Spidey champs. His damage is really good. He's got a regen, depending on if you can nullify any potential buffs, which normally Spidey champs don't have, but there might be a node that has a few buffs that can be applied. And we're just kind of hammering away, and I think I died like right at the very, very end, and I can't remember if it was just from, oh, no, it was right there. Just eat it. Yeah, I went in to tap on his block, and he just, like, intercepted me with his special too, so yeah, that will kill you. And then here, just gotta be careful. Domino does have, like, the medium where it can get evaded, so I'm just gonna try to parry as much as possible, parry heavy, and then get a ton of damage off. And those incinerates do some really nice work. Just kind of, the one thing that kind of bothers me with Domino is, like, the damage is so random. Whether or not you get like a 1k incinerate or you get like a 5k incinerate. But that's kabam RNG for you. So finish him off with Domino, and then we're going to go stroll up to the boss, which is Venom. And we're going to switch out, I think we're going to switch out Red Hulk. Probably could have switched out Domino as well. But, Red Hulk, you know, he's only a rank 3, 5-star, so he's not going to do much damage in any way, shape, or form on a big boss like this. So I bring in Symbiote Supreme, and Symbiote Supreme is just going to melt this guy. The nodes, he's got no hit mercy, he's got the Chitinous Thorns, he's got cutting wires, and he's got foresight, so Symbiote Supreme is a good option here, even though it's got the Chitinous Thorns, because he nullifies and staggers extremely well. So if Venom happened to be able to get an armor up buff on, basically I would just parry and stall out to get to an L3. That way you can nullify that buff plus any buff, or if I was at a L1, you could hit him with an L1 to nullify. And basically the Chitinous Thorns I don't think ever comes into play in this fight. And then Symbiote Supreme is just going to be having a heyday, nullifying his buffs, and then getting some really, really good damage off with all of his phases up, putting on the armor breaks, putting on the bleeds, and I was just trying to wait out. You can get away from his L2, but his L1 is just so much significantly easier to get away from, so that's what I try to stick to. And I do have deep wounds maxed 5 out of 5, so the bleed damage is going to be really nice. And yeah, it's just kind of rinse and repeat. My Mystic Dispersion is 3 out of 5. So yeah, this Symbiote Supreme is just a great option to go up against pretty much almost any Venom. And this one, yeah, he's just going down. Now the one thing I could have done is I could have tried to do some more like intercepts to get the Foresight Fury, but I wasn't risking it and just making it nice and easy. And Symbiote Supreme just does really, really good work. And we are able to solo this guy. And this lane overall, I thought it might be a little bit more painful, but it wasn't too bad. It's been a while since I've had that destructive feedback. That's like what, Act 6.2 Kingpin map. So it's been a long time since I've actually played against that, but it wasn't too bad. Look at that, I had 14 bleeds and up, and this dude's just melting. Symbiote Supreme, if the guy has buffs and they can bleed, he's just boss killer. And he's gonna go down on this next hit. Yep. So there we go. We got through the path. We just died once with the Venom on the Morales and got cleared pretty easily. So thanks for stopping by and watching, and I'll see you in the next one.